What's up, everybody? It is my favorite time of the actual week, because kids' church is the best time of the weekend, but it is our midweek live at 5. So our midweek service, give you a few minutes to hop in here with us, and we are going to talk tonight about some pretty cool stuff. As we continue on with our Gospel Project series, which kind of walks us through the Bible in order of how things happened. And so super excited about that tonight. So as you hop in here, make sure you click like and click share so all of our Hill kids and their families can tune in tonight. Maybe while you're making dinner, or maybe you've been playing video games and you can hit pause on that real quick and we can chat for a minute. I know everybody's kind of busy at this time of the evening, so I'm not going to hold us long, maybe 10, 12 minutes, not too long, but we're going to have some fun in here tonight. So click like, click share, and let's talk for a minute. I see 3 people are watching, but don't know who they are right now because it hasn't popped up on my screen. There we go. Chad Price is watching. I expected nothing less. Hello, Pastor Chad. Hey, how are you, Chad? Make sure we click like, click share. We're going to talk for just a few minutes, but Pastor Daniel is watching. Hey, sir. Missing everybody so much. I'll talk for a second while people kind of get in here. Missing you so terribly. Missing all of our high fives and fist bumps and hugs and everything else that we do in the kids hall, and just kind of missing you guys' faces. You guys bring so much joy and happiness to not just me, but all of our volunteers, all of our workers in the kids hall. So just know we all miss you so much. But it kind of does look like there's maybe light at the end of this tunnel. It looks like some things are starting to turn the right direction. So hopefully not too much longer, and we can be doing our midweek stuff back at church. And we got a lot of cool stuff when we come back too, so it's going to be neat. I miss you too, Chad. I miss you terribly. It's been so long since I've seen you. Let's talk for a few minutes. I know more people come in as we go, and that's okay. If they catch it later, that's fine. But I want to talk to you guys tonight about a crazy dream. How many of you out there have ever had a crazy dream? Like you just woke up and kind of had to sit there and think, what in the world just happened to me? And was that even real? I need to pinch myself and wake up. Oh, it's Ari. Hey, Ari. Hey, Lynette. See you guys in there. Avery's probably watching. Hey, Avery. I had a crazy dream not that long ago where it was kind of like, what in the world? Hey, Derek. What's up? John. Make sure we click like, click share now that everybody's coming in here. So we can all hang out together for midweek. So I had a crazy dream not that long ago, and I had to wake up and wonder if it really happened or if I had actually just dreamed that. And so we're going to talk about a guy tonight who had a crazy dream, and we're going to talk about a kingdom that is going to last forever. You heard me right, forever. It's never going to end. And it kind of goes along with, at the end, kind of what we mentioned on Sunday. So if you were watching Kids Church on Sunday, you'll kind of be able to remember and understand what we're talking about at the end of this. So let's talk for a minute. So this guy had a crazy dream and a kingdom that lasts forever. So I need you to tell me, guys out there, all my adults, all my kids watching, type in real quick, what is something that you maybe thought at one time would last forever, but then it ended? And maybe you were kind of sad when it ended. For me, I've got something as you type, and maybe I can throw you some suggestions if you don't know anything. But for me, I used to love and still do Big League Chew. It was my favorite bubble gum. I would pop it in my mouth like to go play baseball growing up and chew it. And it tasted so good. And I would throw just a huge handful of gum in my mouth and stand over there and play first base. And it was just the best tasting stuff. And I thought, man, if this gum could just last forever, it would be amazing. And I always went with the original flavor, never the grape. Grape was okay, but the original was always better. But what I found out is it took like 5 minutes and my gum flavor was gone, right? So our favorite chewing gum definitely does not last forever as much as we would love it to. Maybe for you guys, you thought school was going to last forever one day. It's just the longest day ever. When will this day ever end? Maybe some of you adults out there think that about work, right? This is the longest day in the world. Will it ever end? But eventually, right, it ends and it goes away, and you can start a new day the next day, and another day at school. Or maybe, school eventually, it actually does end, right? You finish like 12 years, and then I guess you could go to college. But if you don't do that, it really does end. Most of your life is not in school, kiddos. So although it seems like it's going to last forever, it really kind of goes by fast. So we're going to talk tonight about a kingdom that lasts forever and this crazy dream. So if you've ever had a crazy dream, I'd be willing to bet this guy's dream is going to top that. So how many of you out there have ever heard of Daniel? Ever heard of Daniel? I'm sure we have, right? Just a few weeks ago, when I was with Ari and Noah, we talked about Daniel in the lion's den. So now we're going to talk about a different part of Daniel's story. And if you have a Bible and you want to read it later, or maybe you want to follow along tonight, it's in Daniel chapter 7. So Daniel chapter 7. And Daniel had a crazy dream. I mean, wild. So let me tell you about it. So Daniel had a dream one night, and the Lord gave him this dream. And he saw four creatures, beasts, come out of the sea. Okay, number one, if I have that dream, I'm going to want to wake up right then, okay? 4 beasts coming out of the sea sounds pretty scary, okay? But let me tell you about these beasts and what they looked like, because he didn't dream about, like dogs or maybe like a scary cat that likes to claw you when you get close. No, he dreamed some crazy stuff. So the first beast that came out of the sea looked like a lion, okay, pretty scary. But this lion had wings on it. Hold up. Yeah, a lion with wings on it. Scary, right? I mean, a lion is scary enough. Like, if they ran after you, I would be terrified. But if it had wings, then it could fly after you too. And with the sharp claws and big teeth, that's just scary, okay? So that was the first beast that Daniel dreamed about. But there's still 3 more. Now, the second one was probably, in my opinion, the most normal beast out there. It looked like a bear. Okay, now bears are scary, don't get me wrong, but it looked like a bear. So it's definitely not a lion with wings. So on the scale of scary beasts, bear is definitely below that, right? Okay, so then we get the third beast that Daniel saw. And this one, in my opinion, is the weirdest and maybe the scariest. It looked like a leopard, so like a big cat, a huge cat. It looked like a leopard, but that's not the craziest thing about this. This leopard had 4 heads, yeah, you heard that right, and 4 wings on its back. Right? Anybody ever heard of an animal like that? I sure haven't. A leopard-looking animal that had 4 heads and 4 wings. So, I don't know, that would be scary to be chased by a beast that had 4 heads and 4 wings. I bet it could fly super fast. And then it's got 4 heads, so that's freaky. And then finally, the 4th beast shows up. And this beast, Daniel was terrified of this beast more than any of the other ones he saw. This beast was huge, and it was scary looking. And the Bible says it had teeth like iron. So you can't even break iron. That's crazy. It had teeth like iron, and it crushed and destroyed everything in its path. So anything that got in its way, this beast just destroyed it and said, get out of my way because I'm coming through. So Daniel sees these 4 scary beasts in his dream, and he's like, what in the world have I gotten into? I don't even know what I'm seeing right now. So he wakes up, probably sits up in bed, got to take a couple deep breaths, calm down, maybe like you do when you have a scary dream. And he wakes up and he asks the Lord, he's like, Lord, what in the world was this dream about? What was going on here? And so maybe you're probably also wondering, what in the world could this dream be about? 4 scary-looking beasts that, aren't even real? Let me tell you about it, because the Lord told Daniel what it meant. Now, each of these beasts represented a king. And these kings, although scary looking, right? These beasts, pretty scary. The Lord told Daniel, he said, you know what? They may be scary looking and all of these other things, but they represent kings. But guess what, Daniel? They're not going to last forever. Eventually, there's going to be a king who comes and takes all those away, because there was another part of Daniel's dream where he saw a bunch of thrones, and finally the Lord was judging all of these beasts, and he was looking at them, and then the Son of Man showed up. Now, kids, I got a question for you. In the Bible, when we hear the phrase Son of Man, when you hear those words, do you know who that's talking about? I'll give you a couple seconds to maybe write in, because I know it takes a minute to type. When we hear the phrase Son of Man, who is that talking about? Because the Son of Man showed up at the end of this dream. That's right. So the Son of Man was Jesus. So Jesus shows up and he does away with all of these beasts. So God tells Daniel, he's like, look, all of these beasts that represent kings, they may be scary and they may seem like they could last forever. But the Son of Man, Jesus, he's going to get rid of them, and his kingdom is never going to end. So that was the whole point of his dream, that there is going to be a kingdom one day. It never ends, and that's God's kingdom. It's heaven. It never goes away. It's never going to end. Things here on earth may end. Right at the beginning, we talked about bubble gum, and school does eventually end, and your long work day eventually does end, and your favorite video game, you can play it. It's eventually going to end. You're going to beat it, and then you're going to get bored with it. But there is a kingdom, heaven, that never ends. It'll never be done away with. And there's a lot of scary stuff here on earth that we think may never go away. But God is Lord over all of it and can take care of anything that we face. And so I just wanted to talk to you, kiddos, for a little bit. And adults, this is a perfect time for you guys also to just to have some conversations with your blue bloods. Does end. This is true, unfortunately. To have some conversations with your kids at home. On Sunday, we talked about the Easter story and how Christ died for us, but also he was buried and resurrected for us. And the reason Jesus died for us was so that when we trust in him and we ask him into our heart, that we can have eternal life. We can be a part of this kingdom that never ends. That's pretty awesome, because eventually this world is going to come to an end, and Jesus is going to come back. And we go one of two places. There are two kingdoms. We can go to heaven where it never ends, and it's awesome, and we can be with Jesus forever. Or if we never ask Jesus into our heart and never ask him to save us from our sins, then we spend eternity forever in hell, apart from Jesus. And that's so terribly sad to have to think about, that people die and don't get to spend eternity with Jesus. And so, boys and girls, you have that choice to make. Right on Sunday, we talked about choices. And we all have choices to make. And our most important choice we could ever make is the choice of following Jesus and asking him to come into our heart and save us. And so we can be a part of this kingdom that never ends, like in Daniel's dream. And so, parents, I urge you, have conversations with your kids at home during this time. I know life has slowed down a little bit. And I know there's still a lot of distractions at home, and you get sidetracked doing 100 different things, right? You're trying to school from home. You're trying to keep the kids occupied, and the kids are probably driving you crazy, right? Because kids, y'all are tired of being at home too, probably, right? We're all kind of tired of that. But take this opportunity while we've slowed down to have some meaningful conversations about Jesus in your house, parents, and explain the importance of following Christ and having a relationship with Christ, and explaining that the things in this world, although we may think are going to last forever, they eventually do come to an end. But this kingdom, like we learned in Daniel's dream tonight, the Lord told Daniel, there will be a kingdom that will never end. And so we want to make sure that we're going to be a part of that kingdom. And it's so simple, and it's by asking Jesus to come into our hearts. So parents, I hope that you take advantage of this time and have those conversations with your kids, and have the opportunity to lead your children to Christ. And kids, if you're sitting there at home and maybe you're watching by yourself and mom and dad are off doing something else, and you think, I've never asked Jesus into my heart, but I sure want to be a part of this kingdom that never ends. I don't want to be left out. Then let's take a few moments. Go find mom and dad. Go find them and say, hey, Pastor Austin was talking about the importance of following Jesus, and he's talking about this kingdom that never ends. What does that mean? Go find your parents, and you can have an opportunity to follow Jesus and ask him into your heart. I pray that somebody did that on Sunday, and if you didn't, there's still time to do that today or anytime. But we want to make sure we're going to be a part of this kingdom that never ends. and that's pretty awesome. Now, before we go, I have a challenge for you guys. Okay? Now, I know so many of you guys like to draw. I'm not great at it, although I've been working on it while we've been in quarantine, painting and stuff. So maybe when we come back to church, Pastor Austin can, I can paint with you guys and we can show off our skills. But anyways, so many of you guys like to draw and make crafts, and I've got a lot of them hung up on my office door, or I take them home with me because you make crafts for me. I want to test your artistic ability, okay? So kiddos, if you're listening right now, I have a challenge for you. This evening, or maybe sometime this week, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, some crayons, markers, whatever you want to use. I want you to draw what you think these 4 beasts, you need to show off those painting skills, yeah. I want you to draw what you think these 4 beasts look like. Okay, remember, it was a lion with wings, it was a bear, it was a leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings, and then it was a big scary beast with iron teeth that crushed everything in its path. So it's in Daniel chapter 7. If you can't remember and you need to go back and say, what were these beasts? And so I can draw them, go look. But that is my challenge. I want you to draw what you think these beasts looked like, and I want you to send them to me. You can send them to me personally over Facebook or in a text, or you can come drop them in the comments of this video, whatever you want to do. But I want to see your beasts. I want to see what you think they may have looked like in Daniel's dream, because I think you guys can come up with some pretty cool looking ones. And when you send them to me, I'll share them on Facebook for everybody else to see how talented you guys are. So just wanted to come on for just a few minutes and share that with you tonight, that there is a kingdom that will never end, and that is heaven. And so we want to make sure that we are all prepared and ready to go be with Jesus in this kingdom that never ends. So super excited about the time to be with you guys tonight. Don't forget, at 6:30, Pastor Daniel will be on with a devotion. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, Pastor Tristan will be on the Hill students. They had a joint service with some other student pastors in the area, and I know it's going to be awesome. So make sure you tune in. That's at 8 o'clock. So lots of cool stuff. And my last little plug, like it always is for the Hill kids, don't forget tomorrow night is Family Trivia Night. It has grown each week. Week 1, the Rowell family won. And last week, we had a close one. We had to go to a tiebreaker between the Rowells and the Price family. And the Price family won just barely. They just barely squeaked it out. So they've gotten their prizes for winning trivia. And so make sure your family joins in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for Family Trivia Night. It's always a blast. We're having a lot of fun doing it. So we'll see you tomorrow night. You guys have a great rest of your evening.